Now, let us take up the concept number 4.3, ways of interacting with the computer. Now, nowadays, most of the applications what we use are interactive applications. Interactive applications means we give commands, and according to those commands, the application performs the tasks. The best example for this is a bank ATM. If you go to a bank ATM and use it, it asks you several options, and on your based on your response, it reacts. Suppose when you insert your card, immediately it asks you which language out of three languages one you have to prefer. You press the corresponding button, then that language options are shown. So for everything it asks you a question, according to that you respond out of multiple options, then it behaves according to that. So we can give command to a system, to an application, either through hardware or software. For giving commands to the system, we use either a keyboard or a mouse or touch screens and all that you well aware of it. So these interactions can be classified into two types. The first one is graphical user interface. Interface means either software or hardware which allows us to communicate with the system. That is called interface. So the interfaces can be classified into two groups: graphical user interfaces and character user interfaces. Graphical user interfaces and all that, for every option it provides an icon or a video element. By using that video element, we can interact with the computer. That is graphical user interfaces. Simply it is called GUI. It is also called GUI. Understand? And other one is character user interfaces. Actually, the most sophisticated and latest one is graphical user interfaces. Most of the applications are developed nowadays are GUI applications. So for this, the best example is MS Word. MS Word software most of you use for preparing documents and all that. With reference to this, we can understand the components. Actually, whatever video components are there, they all are given different names and all that. If you are already using and all that, you may be aware of that. For New Year's and all that, this is very much important to know the names of different video elements and all that. So we can classify them with a reference to MS Word window. I explain these things and what is their purpose also. All these elements can be classified as buttons, menus and all that. In that, drop down menus, pop up menus, text area, dialog boxes and all that. Just with a reference to this MS Word window, I briefly explain about them. First one is button. So you can find several buttons here. These buttons, every button represents one task. Just you take this button for saving the data, whatever data you type and all that, you can save it. Here you can find the corresponding icon, that is a floppy disk. So once you type the matter in this text area, thereafter if you press the button, whatever data you typed and all that, it is saved. It is saved means it is transferred to the hard disk, and whenever you want, you can retrieve it. So several buttons are there. Thereafter, several buttons and corresponding icon is there, and you place the cursor, mouse cursor on that. What is the purpose of that is displayed in the form of text. So by pressing that, the task is performed. Okay, thereafter menus. Actually, on the top of the window, you can find a set of menu items and all that. What is the difference? Actually, menu has a set of commands. Actually, if for everything one button is created, there will be numerous buttons and all that. When numerous buttons are there, then it is very difficult for the user to identify and locate a particular button. So generally buttons represent individual action, an independent action. Suppose saving is an independent action, for that button is created. But in most cases, it may not be independent action, a collective action, a series of actions are there, or all are grouped. For that purpose, menus are created. Now here you see home. In this menu, home, insert, page layout, references, like that. Depending on the application, these menus are created. Generally, menus represent a series of related actions, coherent actions and all that. Then once you press that, all coherent actions in the form of buttons may be opened. Otherwise, a list of menus, a series of menus are open. Out of that, whatever you want, you can use that. Thereafter, these menus can be classified into two groups. Drop down menu. Drop down menu means, the best example is this. Here fonts. Normally in our system, number of fonts, font phases we use and all that. So font, and here is a button. Here is a button. When you press this button, now whatever fonts are available in the system are listed out like this. Then a drop down or pull down menu is allowed. All the fonts, number of fonts, whatever you already provided, all are listed out. Out of that, for your text, which font face you require, that you can select. This is called drop down menu. Drop down menu. And one more menu is there, that is pop up menu. Actually, this is a text area. Then if you press the right button of the mouse, if you click, then one menu is popped up. With reference to this MS Word, this pop-up menu consists of all edit commands and all that, cut, paste, edit, etc. Options are available here. This is called pop-up menu. Drop down menu means whenever you press a button, then a pull down menu comes and all that. It consists of a number of options. Out of that, whatever you require, you can choose by clicking on that. Pop-up menu means if you put your cursor, mouse cursor in the window and press anywhere, one menu is open which is relevant for that context. Suppose on desktop window, if you make a right click, then certain options like refresh, new, that is new, creating new folder, etc. and all that, that menu is open. That is pop-up menu. This is pop-up, this is drop-down menu. And thereafter, one more element is there which is frequently used, a dialog box. Actually, in certain situations, you should be alerted. So for that purpose, in a particular context, corresponding dialog box is open. Just for example, actually you want to delete a file. Already one file is placed on your file system. You want to delete it. So when you want to delete it, sometimes you may accidentally delete it. That's why the system has to draw your attention whether you are doing it accidentally or intentionally. For that purpose, whenever you want to delete this file, the corresponding command used and all that, one dialog box is open. In the dialog box, it specifically asks you, would you like to delete this file? And specifically it asks you, By that, by that you can alert. It make you to think twice. Are you doing that action voluntarily or accidentally? So by that, suppose if you don't want to delete because it is drawing your special attention toward that, then if you don't want to, then you think of it may be required in future. So I don't want to delete. Then you you press an option cancel. So dialog boxes are created in specific situations to make you to alert or to make you to think twice to perform the task. So these are the elements you must remember: buttons, menus. Menus are drop-down menus, pop-up menus, and text area where you type, and dialog boxes. This type of graphical user interfaces provide all these visual elements. Simply pointing and clicking, you can perform the task. And thereafter, character or text user interfaces. Actually, before this GUI is introduced, this was popular. The second category of interfaces are character user interfaces. As I told you earlier, these are the latest. Earlier, before introduction of the graphical user interfaces, this CUI, character user interfaces or text user interfaces were popular. Actually, mainly DOS system uses character user interfaces. In this, for giving commands and all that, we use text. We use text like load and del. Like that, textual commands we give. For this purpose, operating system prompts us what we have to do and all that. Operating system prompts us, then we give the corresponding command and all that. Then suppose if you specific file, if you want to load and all that, then you type the particular file name, that file is loaded by the operating system. Suppose if you want to delete any file and all that, del, and after that load file name, del file name, like that you type, then the particular file is deleted. For this purpose, you have to understand that we have to do it at a command line. At command line, operating system prompts us, and according to that prompt, users use that, then it is implemented by the operating system. So these are nowadays the recent and sophisticated applications, all are GUI applications, not CUI applications, and CUI applications are DOS based. In mainly DOS system, CUI uh, character user interfaces are used.